Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Titans Return Titan Master Nightbeat. And it's funny that Nightbeat is the only one in this first wave of Titan Master figures that retains his original G1 name. The other ones, for some reason or another, had their name modified to kind of represent what it used to be, but not quite. Now, Nightbeat here keeps the full name. And again, much like those other three that we took a look at, Nightbeat actually represents a character that was just in the comics. So it's a great way for fans to kind of get little figures of it, and for kids to kind of have some play value, because they can take these and mix and match and play with the other Titan Master figures, or I should say Titan Return figures. For the package, you got obviously his head, which does do a great job of homaging that original Nightbeat head. And you got the Transformers name right there with Generations up there. You got Fort Max on the back of the card. On the back of the package, you can see again that all of these Titan Master figures have interchangeable heads that can be put on leader figures, Voyagers, or Deluxes, so you can, like I said, have a lot of play value with these. And the price point, I think, is absolutely perfect. These are like $7 or $8, so these are definitely value sort of figures. But for the packaging, well, he doesn't like standing, but for the packaging, that's about it for it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Nightbeat opened up out of his packaging, and in his jet sled thing? I really don't have any idea what you would even call this, but for some reason, I really like this guy. I don't know, I just think it's fun that you can have him kind of riding on the back of a little jet. I don't know, it's weird. Now, Nightbeat here, like I was saying before, all of these are essentially the same figure. You're not getting too much different, but all the Titan Master figures here do utilize individual molding, which is really very cool. As you can see, you got some real nice molded detail there in the arm. You come around here, you got a newly molded chest with a screw in the middle. You got new thighs, new legs, obviously a new head. You got some nice silver paint thrown on there. And then to transform him, you tuck his arms down, you rotate this guy around, and there's his head. And you got a little bit of a screaming, angry kind of look. I like that they got some red paint there in the eyes. But this does a really nice job of homaging how the original G1 figure looked. I think they did a great job here. Like I said, Nightbeat's also the only one that retains his original G1 name, which is pretty cool. So doing some of the actual comparisons, I guess we can set things here. Next to Apex, and then obviously the G1 Spike figure. So again, you're seeing size-wise what they're basically going with the new figures. And then obviously, I'm going to do it now because I have him here. Here is the Headmaster for Brainstorm that we got a couple years back. So again, a little bit smaller, but honestly a much better figure than what we got here. Now granted, mine was misassembled here at the knee, but honestly I think that what they basically did here with the new Titan Master figures is so much better than what we got with Brainstorm. I mean, much like what Hasbro did with the Power Core Combiners, how they learned from that and took what they learned to make the Combiner War figures a fairly successful line. I think they did the exact same thing here with these new Titan Masters. I think they were able to perfect what they did here and give us really solid figures. Now for this guy's little transformation thing, he also does transform into a little drill. Literally, you tuck these up. Oh, you got some nice molded missiles there as well. You rotate that, you spin that around like so, and then you take this up, and there's this little drill thing. It's kind of weird. And actually, I'm sorry, you're supposed to take him, tuck him around, and this actually gets a little bit tricky to do. You got a little section right here that you have to kind of scoop this in and peg his head in there. It does get a little bit problematic when you're trying to take it out, but you can get it, well, even problematic getting it in. You're kind of scraping things here. I don't think that this is necessarily the best kind of mode right here, but you basically got to get that in there on this angle, and a lot of times it doesn't really fit. I'm just going to jam him in there. That's basically what you're supposed to do, and then you take it out. But one thing I want to try to recreate, oh, there we go. Okay, so there you have it in there. You got his little exhaust thing here, but you got a little drill guy right there. Pretty decent paint detail, and you got some nice silver paint here along the side, and then obviously for the actual drill section. Now, I'm going to see if this actually does it, but you pull it out, and it gets in there really tight, and in trying to pull it out, oh, it didn't do it. Sometimes I have had where his head completely gets stuck in there, so I really don't like this mode. And honestly, for me, what I'll just end up doing is taking him, kind of just sitting him right here, and I'll do something like that. That works perfectly fine for me. It's not really how it's supposed to be, but I don't like jamming that in there, and then, like I said, you have to kind of go in on an angle, and it makes this pop out. Now, granted, it is just a ball joint, but it does make me a little bit nervous when you're doing that. And then, yes, he does have a gun mode. This is it. You keep that guy pegged in there, right up in there, and here's his gun. Although it's a kind of silly gun because it's just a drill. I guess you could leave it like this and then maybe have some missiles or something like that, but I'm not a big fan of this. I honestly think that his little flying bird or flying jet mode is a little bit better. You got a nice Autobot logo there as well. I think that's a little bit better just in general. Now, as I've shown you before, this guy can be used on any number of figures. Bringing in, I haven't done this before really either, but you got the little peg right here. This is the buzzsaw that we got a while ago. You just peg that right on there, and you can have a little moving platform form, you know, if you're so inclined. Or no, I think it went this way, so you just rotate him around like that, so you can have that kind of rolling around. Again, it's a nice toy to have if you have that city mode, you know, with Fort Max or a Blaster or anything like that. And then, because I've been doing it all these times previously, we're going to take him, you're going to transform him, you're going to tuck that right in there, and you can now have Nightbeat on the Cerebros if you really want to. Like I said, the mix and match play value on here is really very fun. I think it's great, and a lot of kids, I honestly think, are going to really like that. I think parents are going to like it because these are cheap figures. Like I said, they're like $7, so you can get these and have a lot of play value. So then you just take this guy, kind of slot this there. I just slot that there, kind of slot that there, and then you just kind of wedge that guy right in there. So now you can have that. You can then bring this up and around, and you know, like I said, it is a little bit smaller. All these ones are a little bit smaller than what actually Blaster's actual face is kind of designed as. You can see it gets a little bit taller here, so really Blaster is the best looking, or I shouldn't say Blaster, Twincast is the best looking on the Blaster body, but you can do that with all these other figures. But again, another set that I think is really very fun. As the character Nightbeat, he is going to appeal to some of those hardcore collectors that, you know him through the comics, or I did find out recently, I didn't know that before, but all these guys actually do come to us, and I'm dropping them, actually did also come to us in a lot of the Japanese series, specifically the Super God Master Force series that, unfortunately, I never really watched. It is very difficult for me to watch. I did watch Headmasters, but it's hard for me to watch the other ones. I only knew about these characters existing in comic book form, which I never really read the comics, but I actually knew that they were in the comics. So again, I think collectors are really going to appreciate that, and kind of like that we're getting those kind of thrown to us. As for kids, I think they're going to love the play value on them. Having these little tiny vehicles and everything like that with the actual figures, I think is really fun. The fact that you can actually use these also with the other figures, and regardless of the class size, I think is a great idea. And then bringing back the whole city thing with like Fort Max just by himself. These guys really do add a lot of play value, and I think kids are going to love it, and I think parents are going to like it because these are cheap toys. And even though they're cheap, they are still really very fun. I've said it before, I have yet to be disappointed in anything that we've gotten really from the Titans Return line. There are some that I like a little bit more than others, but in general, I'm absolutely loving these and having fun with them. So if Nightbeat here, as well as the rest of the first wave of Titan Master figures, are ones that you'd like to add to your collection, they are available right now at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS, where you can check out availability on these, as well as the rest of the brand new Titans Return figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please like and share it. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you never miss a future review of mine. And as always, until next time, I'll talk to you later.